So, again, in the late 1800s, when you got to a solid wall, when your coal seam ran out, you didn't know whether it was just farther away, it had broken apart, whether it had gone up, whether it had gone down. You pretty much had to guess. And that's why later they invented core drills and just, drill a hole here, see what's there. So they built this trying to catch the Nelson seam, which was mostly mined on the far side of the river, on this side of the river. The Nelson seam was a very profitable seam. It had places that were rumored to be the seam as high as 24 foot. It averaged 8 foot, and I have record of 14 and 16 foot from a mining inspector. And so those I know are right. The rumors are 24 foot might have been there. But you're talking, telephone pole size. And that's a lot of coal. When they mine, I got a diagram here. They mine using a room and pillar method. You had to, remember you're talking, if you mine out too much, the ceiling falls in on top of you. And you can't brace the ceiling, it's so big, with just, wood. You would actually lay sections of coal, large pillars, to hold the ceiling up and hope that it didn't fall down on top of you. So we can pass this around. This is, this is just a diagram that someone made up from a coal book from the time period. And it looks very similar to what's underneath you. This was built to catch that expensive seam. That's why it was built so wide. It was going to be an airway. It was going to have tube tracks running down the side of it. It was going to be big. You would have seen a cable, possibly 2 cables coming out that would have pulled the coal cars you had a plant back in that area, which pulled these cables along. And so whenever you wanted to go somewhere with your coal cart, instead of using mules like they use down in the mine themselves, you hook onto that cable and it would pull your car out for you. It's steam and electric. There was an electric plant for a while.
What's the date of this?
This was started in 1895? No. 1887. I want to say 1887, but I might be wrong on that.
Yeah, that's right. 1901.
1901 it shows.
They had a methane explosion in here till 31 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it connects to it underneath the river. Unfortunately, they did not find the Nelson seam. They found a small 4-foot seam, which really wasn't worth mining, and they kept trying. They kept pouring money into it, hoping to hit coal, not gold, but coal. The J. Wesley Gardner did some core drills out here in the 50s and 60s, and actually, if they'd gone down 18 foot, they would have hit it. They missed it. It's a big seam. It's a worthwhile seam to mine, and James Gardner that was one of his ideas, was to actually restart mining of that using this money dump, because it was not quite as bad. And you'll see down below that the actual main slope is actually still good. It's underwater, so it would be possible to drain it and do some mining, but that's no longer on the table. So that's this. They shut it down. They used it as an airflow for the mine over there. Air in the mines would go miles. They mapped out the airflow, and it's miles that the air would flow around to get the air in and out of the mines. And actually, what you see as you came around that corner, and you can take a look as we go back out, that's where a big fan would have been. We're talking, 8, 10, 12-foot fans sucking air in or out. It would generally suck air out of the mines, but in holes over there, down under the ground, several miles, and then pop back out. So there were several tragedies. We won't go into the details in the mines. There was a lot of dust in the coal mine, and that dust accumulates and it lights on fire. There's a lot of methane gas as well.
That's what caused this.
Yep, that was a methane one.
But the Nelson mine was something.
That was a coal dust. Yeah, that was a coal dust one. But to give you an idea of the force of these explosions in the mines, there was one explosion. It was reported that it shot out of the shaft. It was one farther up the river. 300 feet of flame. Like and it burned trees and stuff 300 feet away from the entrance. So these are massive explosions. What killed most people, though, in the mines wasn't the explosion. It was the lack of oxygen after the explosion happened. You couldn't get air back into the mines fast enough. After an explosion, you were still alive. You had to get out quick. And if you didn't,
air was flames
you're out of luck.
You'd be surprised at the concussion.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't smoke in the mines, did they?
No, but you have candles.
They,
oh, okay,
my
okay.
grandfather used carbide lights. Which surprised me was carbide lights that didn't have more methane explosion than what they had.
Yeah. There's a couple of reports. Oh, go ahead.
I do have a question. So, what were they paying? What was the salary for a miner in those days?
Yeah, it's a good question. The Dayton Coal and Iron Company, I found a report from 1885, I think. The Dayton Coal and Iron Company miners were actually paid quite well comparatively in Tennessee. They were paid anywhere between 60 cents and $1 a ton, depending on the slate content of their coal. So you get paid for how much you mine. And how that works, this is how you mine. You got a wall of coal, and so you get down on your side and you take a pick. So you're laying on your side and you're picking out underneath, a section underneath the coal. So you got a wall of coal and you pick out underneath it. Well, it doesn't fall yet. They drill holes into the wall at an angle. They put dynamite in there. And then either early in the morning or late at night when most of the people are out of the mine,
Somebody's got a lot.
they shoot them off. Yeah. So, and if they're good, it'll explode all that top section into nice sized chunks. You want chunks that are about yay big. If it's bigger chunks that came down, you'd have to break that up. So that's your time, that's your money that you're not making. Or it gets so small, to dust, and it's not useful. And that you can't sell. You can't get any money for either. So that's the life of a coal miner, lying on your side in the dark with a pick.
So the guys who set the dynamite charges, was that just any miner that would do that, or were those guys kind of special?
You generally drill your own holes. There's a lot of different types of people inside the mine, as well as mules. A lot of mules were in the mines. You'd have about between 30 and 50 people in the mine, in each of the mines around here. So you probably, in any given day, on a peak day, back in the 800s, 1880s, you would have probably had about 100 to 150 people underground at any particular time.
Shoot that coal. They would drill in myself. Both sides. And in the center, this would be number one shot. This would center out. And then number two was both sides. Number three. The way they did that with fuses, when they had a lot of fuses, they pulled it up, DC current come along. They did that. And then they just cut the fuse however short they wanted to, work through. Everybody came out at the two. Now there were two entrances to the mine. You had to have little rooms up. What are you talking about? Me tell it. Or even bring people in and set that. We drilled them up. And ours, that's perfect.
What is that?
I found out how to